Most people think poverty is a math problem. Earn more, spend less, save the difference. Simple. Except if money were purely mathematical, millions of intelligent people would not be trapped in the same financial patterns year after year. Because money is rarely just about money. It is about identity, emotion, status, fear, belonging. And the uncomfortable truth is that many of the habits that keep people poor have very little to do with intelligence. They are psychological habits, invisible habits. Habits that feel normal until they quietly consume decades of your life. One of the most studied concepts in behavioral economics is called present bias. Human beings consistently value immediate rewards more than future rewards. The brain evolved in environments where survival was uncertain. Future planning mattered, but immediate resources often mattered more. Our ancestors were not investing in retirement accounts. They were trying not to become lunch. The problem is that modern economies reward delayed gratification, saving, investing, learning skills, building businesses, developing expertise. Most meaningful financial growth requires sacrificing comfort today for security tomorrow. But the brain whispers, buy it now, enjoy it now, you deserve it now. And over years, thousands of small nows become one very expensive life. As psychologist Walter Mischel's famous delayed gratification research suggested, the ability to tolerate short-term discomfort is strongly associated with better long-term outcomes. The problem is not intelligence, the problem is impatience. Many purchases are emotional regulation disguised as shopping. Stress, loneliness, boredom, insecurity, disappointment. The modern marketplace understands this extremely well. Notice how advertisements rarely sell products. They sell identities, confidence, success, belonging, attractiveness, freedom. The message is almost always, you are one purchase away from becoming the person you wish you were. For a moment, buying something can genuinely improve mood. Dopamine rises. Novelty feels exciting. But research consistently shows that the emotional benefits fade quickly. The feeling disappears. The bill remains. Which is why emotional spending often becomes cyclical. Discomfort, purchase, relief, regret, repeat. The goal is not to stop buying things. The goal is to stop asking purchases to solve emotional problems. Because wallets make terrible therapists. Thorstein Veblen observed something fascinating more than a century ago. People often spend money not only for utility, but for social signaling. To communicate status, success, membership, importance. In modern life, this pressure has become relentless. Social media transformed comparison into a full-time occupation. Someone is always traveling more, earning more, owning more, achieving more, and comparison creates artificial scarcity. A person earning a comfortable income can still feel poor if everyone they follow appears richer. Psychologists call this relative deprivation. We judge ourselves not by objective reality, but by comparison. This creates one of the most destructive financial habits, spending money to impress people who are mostly thinking about themselves. The ancient Stoics understood this long before Instagram existed. Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." Not because wealth is bad, but because comparison has no finish line. Many people avoid looking at money entirely. They avoid bank statements, budgets, investments, credit card balances, financial conversations. Psychologically, this makes perfect sense. The brain avoids things that create anxiety, but avoidance always charges interest, sometimes literally. Researchers studying financial behavior repeatedly find that financial avoidance is associated with poorer outcomes and greater stress. The irony is cruel. People avoid money because money makes them anxious. Then avoidance creates more anxiety. Then they avoid it even more. What we refuse to measure eventually controls us. A budget is not punishment, it is awareness. And awareness is usually less frightening than imagination. Perhaps the most dangerous money trap is believing, once I earn more, everything will change. Income matters. Absolutely. Financial hardship is real, but many people discover something surprising. They earn more and remain financially stressed. Why? Because habits scale. Lifestyle inflation arrives quietly. The larger apartment, the nicer car, the upgraded phone, the expensive subscriptions, the convenient purchases. As income rises, expenses rise alongside it. The finish line moves further away. Psychologists refer to this broadly as hedonic adaptation. Humans quickly adapt to improve circumstances. What once felt luxurious becomes normal, then necessary, then insufficient. This is why some people become wealthier while remaining financially fragile. The income changed. The psychology did not. The solution is not becoming obsessed with money. It is becoming conscious of it. Start by noticing emotional spending. Before buying, ask, what problem am I hoping this solves? Second, create friction. Wait 24 hours before non-essential purchases. Most impulses expire surprisingly quickly. Third, automate good decisions. Automatic savings remove daily negotiation from the process. The less self-control required, the better. Fourth, stop measuring yourself against strangers. Comparison is one of the few games where everyone loses. And finally, invest in skills more than appearances. Skills compound, knowledge compounds, relationships compound, character compounds. Very few luxury purchases do. The wealthiest habits are often surprisingly boring. Patience, consistency, delayed gratification, long-term thinking. Not exciting, but effective. Money magnifies psychology. It reveals impatience, fear, comparison, avoidance, impulsivity, hope, identity. Which is why financial freedom is not simply about earning more. It is about thinking differently. Not every purchase deserves your attention. Not every desire deserves obedience. Not every comparison deserves belief. Because wealth is not only what enters your bank account. It is what remains after emotion stops making decisions. And perhaps the real question is not, how can I make more money? But, what habits are quietly stealing the money I already have? If this video resonated with you, subscribe to Atlas of Becoming and click on the screen for the next video. Why you feel stuck financially? Because sometimes the biggest obstacle is not a lack of opportunity. It is a pattern of thinking so familiar that we mistake it for reality.